G'day everyone. We're back for the second episode of the WFNL podcast for 2025. Thanks for listening to last week's edition, and if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. Hopefully you enjoy what we've got for you. Round 2 in senior football saw multiple teams continue strong starts to the season, along with a few first-time winners, all of which we'll get into shortly. Thankfully, I'm not alone this week as we take a look at last weekend's results. This week I'm joined by WFNL Football Operations Manager Luke Henry to discuss what went down around the grounds in round 2. We've also got an interview with Newport coach Ali Hamad to play for you later in the show. Let's get into it. Luke, thanks for jumping in with me this week. You were laid out last week, but it's good to have you here following round 2.
Thanks, Justin. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's great to be on the podcast for the first time for 2025. Very exciting. It's been a good start. Weather's been good. Footy's back on the park. It was a good round of footy, wasn't it, this weekend? There was some really close games, especially in the Division 1 men's TIV. There was some beauties there, which we'll obviously touch base on in a little bit.
Let's get into the TIV Division 1 senior men's results from the weekend. And first up, Spotswood. They had a big win over Point Cook Centrals.
They did, yeah. They've started well, spotty, 2-0 early in the season. You can't ask for much more than that, and they continued on from where they finished against Newport the week before. Obviously, that last quarter where they kicked 10 goals, wasn't it? So it was pretty impressive, and you'd say it wasn't even the talking point of the day down at Spotswood. Obviously, Razor Ray was doing some of his finest work down there on Saturday, which was obviously a great advertisement for umpiring and for the league and obviously for Razor and in the work that he's doing off the field. And I saw there was a few news cameras down there capturing some of the footage, which was good. So, but yeah, on field, Spotty were really good, weren't they? Obviously, Jack Charleston with 34 touches on the weekend, 30 last week. So he's personally started really well, and yeah, Spotty under new leadership at the top with their new senior coach this year, they'd be wrapped with the way they've started. That's for sure.
A bit surprised by this, actually. Spotty, such comfortable winners. Point Cook Central's won their first game of the season. But to lose by this much, it was a bit of a surprise. Spotty obviously were really good last week. Probably inaccurate kicking hurt them early on in the game, but they seem to produce a pretty strong four-quarter performance this weekend. So things are definitely moving in the right direction there, down at Donald McLean Reserve.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like for Spotty to only keep their opponent to 3 goals, they'd be pretty happy defensively as well. In saying that, Point Cook Centrals did kick quite inaccurately, but to still keep your opposition to only 3 goals in the game, yeah, they've started really well, and to kind of gel early in the season always takes a little bit of time to click, but Spotty certainly can't complain in that sense.
Point Cook hosted Newport at Saltwater Reserve, and it was the Panthers claiming their first Division 1 win.
It was a record breaker, wasn't it? First win in Division 1 senior football for Newport, so congratulations to them. I was actually down there last week for their round 1 game against Spotswood, and it was awesome. The atmosphere was electric, and I was saying to a few people down there that it felt like finals, just the atmosphere, the weather that was turned on for the day. So well done to the club for getting such a great turnout. Obviously, for this weekend they were brilliant. Obviously, getting a close win over Point Cook, so that'll give them massive confidence going into next week against Albion, who obviously they came up with them from Division 2 last year. So they'd be wrapped with the win on the weekend, wouldn't they?
They would be down by 19 points at quarter time, and then clawed their way back 2 points down at half time, and then were 10 points up at 3/4 time. And Point Cook staged a little bit of a comeback. They kicked 5 in the last, but the Panthers did enough to hold on. And there was some footage of that the Newport song at the end of the game, and they obviously sung that pretty loud and proud, getting their first win.
Yeah, they were, and even on the siren as well, saw some footage, and it was just pure elation, wasn't it? Probably a massive relief to kind of get the first one off the back. It's always you want to get that first win, no matter whether it's just for the season, but obviously in Division 1 footy, as we know, it is such an even and tough competition to win games in. So, they were obviously very delighted, and obviously, as we'll touch on a bit later, it's a short turnaround for Point Cook. They'll play on Good Friday, so they kind of don't get the week off this week. They'll go straight in and kind of back into battle again.
In terms of some of the stars for Newport, Joel Freeman, one of the new recruits, one of many new recruits there. He kicked 7, so he had a great day in front of the big sticks. Lukman Hadara and Mohammed Saad won plenty of ball. So good signs for some of the new guys down there at Newport. We had a rematch of last year's Division 2 Grand Final, Albion hosting Sunshine at JR Parsons Reserve, and it was Albion. They got their first win of the season also, obviously back up in Division 1, so they came away with a 27-point victory, so they'll be happy to get that one off their back.
Yeah, they would be. They probably would have preferred to win the final game of 2024, but it is always kind of nice to get one on the opposition that you played in a grand final the year before. So, congratulations to Albion. Obviously, they were really competitive the week before against Point Cook Central's only going down by just over a kick, so they kind of, in a way, you can say they've taken a little bit of that momentum into round 2, and for them, nice to kind of get their first home win as well for the season. So good for them and their supporters. And
indeed, like Newport, they were down at the first change and then worked their way back into the game, up at half time, up at 3/4 time, and then did it fairly comfortably in the end. Pretty handy in for the Cats. They had Caleb McPherson back in, so that was a great in. And Daniel Rosenvig, one of the recruits, he kicked 7, so nice for him to contribute on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it always helps when your recruits come in and play a impact role straight away, isn't it?
At Yarraville, we had a high-scoring affair with Werribee Districts coming away with a 22-point win there.
Ripping game, wasn't it? 33 goals. It's no one's going to be complaining about that. Maybe Gillo and Brad from a defensive side of things, but obviously a great game of footy against two really good sides. Obviously, Yarraville were coming off that thrilling win against Caroline Springs week 1, and obviously Werribee started really impressively. So really good game of footy.
It was. The week before, obviously for Werribee Districts, we had Dan Nielsen starred with 10 goals, but it was a real spread of goal kickers this week, actually. They had 6 multiple goal kickers, I think, and Jack Fletcher, the best of them, with 4, and a few 3s and 2s as well. Yeah,
well, it just shows they've got plenty of avenues towards goal, don't they? Obviously, Nielsen only kicking the 1 goal on the weekend compared to the 10 he kicked the week before. So, and even Yarraville as well, having 10 individual goal kickers. So, certainly both sides got plenty of attacking options, possibly when their key targets aren't kind of hitting the scoreboard necessarily. So,
Yarraville said they'll be pleased to have got Josh Halliwell back on the weekend. So, that strengthens their defence nicely going forward. Obviously, Werribee District's 2-0 now. Yarraville 1-1, but encouraging signs so far.
Absolutely, I think both clubs. Obviously, whilst Yarraville would have loved to have been 2-0, getting pretty close with against obviously a pretty classy Werribee outfit.
Our match of the day, Hoppers Crossing against Caroline Springs. It was the reigning premiers who got the points here. Yeah,
it was a first game for Hoppers back on their home deck since their success last year, and they've really started this year where they finished last year, haven't they? So obviously Ryan Kitchen kicking 7, Harry Maguire comes back in, kicks 5. Just shows when he's in, your defence has really got to be on their A game. So good start for them. Caro, they obviously nearly got there against Yarraville round 1. Just couldn't get over the line after that shot after the siren hit the post. So, they have a massive game coming up in 2 weeks just to try and get a win on the board for them. And they did have some good ball winners, so it's not all doom and gloom for them at this stage. So,
with a bye in the VFL for the state game between Victoria and the Sample, the Lakers, they had Northern Bull Ants star Ethan Mantis on the weekend, and he was their leading disposal getter with 35 disposals. A few other boys up there in the 30s too for Caroline Springs. Ben Caluzzi, he had another good game, 32, and Mitch Bongiovanni, 30 as well. While another new recruit, Malik Alfakani, kicked 5. In terms of Hoppers crossing, you obviously touched on Harry Maguire coming back in, but yeah, they had a few other pretty handy players coming as well. Bailey Young, who started the year playing with Footscray in the VFL. Josh Pickus back, Jed Anderson. So, they had some pretty handy ins from round 1. So it's a strong looking side at the moment, and there's still players to come back in.
Very strong. And yeah, it was a great day for Hoppers as well, obviously unfurling their flag in front of their supporters and fans and members. So yeah, congratulations to them. A great day, obviously topped off by that win. So they would have been wrapped with how obviously the day planned out from a Hoppers point of view.
It did it well, actually. I think they had all 3 of their senior premiership cups out there, and with a little presentation and the flag raising before the game. So nice way to start the day. And on Saturday night at Merv Hughes Oval, we had Parkside hosting Altona, with the Vikings securing a 2-point win.
Thriller. 2 points. Ripper of a game. Love that when you get a night match that turns into a ripper. So it's one of those ones, probably could have gone either way when you do look at it. So as you were just saying, both go to 1-1 now, and both Altona and Parkside have got massive games coming up in 2 weeks' time. So it's one of those ones in this competition, as we know, you've just got to try and be on the right side of those close games, because with how tight the competition is, that could make a difference once we get past round 18, that's for sure.
Yeah, good bounce back for Altona, obviously going down to Hoppers crossing in the first week of the season. Getting that first win. Now, Parkside got a win over Sunshine in the first week, and weren't helped by a little bit of inaccurate kicking, but I think they're building off last year. And all right, Division 2 senior men, and Auburn is sitting on top of the ladder after 2 rounds. They had a 49-point win over Sunshine Heights at home on the weekend.
Good start for them. Yeah, they won't be complaining after the first 2 weeks. Matt Taylor kicking 6. He's started the year well for them. So, all positive for Auburn. Sunshine Heights, Jackson Viola kicked 4 for them. And a new recruit for Sunshine Heights, but it just wasn't enough. But Auburn certainly looking really strong to start the year, and they'll obviously be looking to continue that form, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think in terms of Viola, I think he kicked 2-7 the first game, so nice turnaround, 4-1 I believe. So nice for him to convert a few of those chances.
And I'm sure going forward there'll be certainly more goals than behinds that'll be coming his way, that's for sure.
The Western Rams, they had a big win over Tarneet.
They did. Yeah, massive for them. Their third win in the league after having two wins last year, and as we know, they're the drought-breaking record, so they would have been wrapped to get one early in the year, and they had a lot of individual goal kickers, including Jared Scott kicking 5, Connor Chorus kicking 5, and multiple other players getting on the scoreboard, kicking 2s and 3s. So they would have been wrapped. They would have been thrilled with that.
Tarneet, I don't think we're expecting too much from them this year, but after a slow start in this game, they showed some encouraging signs in the second half. So I think that'll be pleasing for them, and
definitely.
Hopefully something they can build off going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Braybrook played host to West Footscray, and it was the Roosters who secured a pretty comfortable win in the end, 45 points.
Yeah, second week in a row they've kicked over 100 points, so they'd be wrapped with that start, and including Thomas Saludo kicking 7 on the weekend for them. So, a great start for West Footscray. And they also do sit up there at the moment as one of the 3 sides that are unbeaten to start the year. So they obviously have a massive game in 2 weeks against North Footscray. So that'll be a ripping contest on Anzac Day.
Braybrook, they have started with 2 losses, and it's probably come down to their first quarters, really. I think in round 1 they conceded 7 goals in the first quarter. So had a fair bit of work to do there, and then on the weekend they conceded 9 to West Footscray. So it's pretty tough to be 48 points down at quarter time and try and get something out of the game. They did work their way back into the game and were only 14 points down at half time, but you've almost spent your petrol tickets by that stage. And West Footscray responded and re-established their lead in the third, and then came away pretty comfortably in the end.
Makes it hard if you're giving teams head starts like that. It makes it tough to come back, doesn't it? So you will have a comeback at some point, but everything's kind of got to go right when you're giving up kind of 6, 7, 8 goal head starts to teams. So I'm sure Braybrook will bounce back. They've got a massive game coming up against Auburn Vale, so they'll be wanting to obviously start that game well to give themselves every opportunity there.
Good signs for one of Braybrook's new recruits, Jack Vivian. He kicked 6 on the weekend. And just back to West Footscray, you mentioned Thomas Deludo. He kicked 7. He's got 12 for the season already, so he's in great touch early. Jacob Doyle and Sam Hall, they've been the best 2 players for the Roosters early as well, so good signs.
Steludo's currently sitting on the top of the leading goal kicker, so great start for him personally, and obviously helping West Footscray the first 2 rounds.
Laverton and the Suns coming away with a 47-point win.
Yeah, good to bounce back for the Suns after the first defeat against Wyndham Vale. Started the game well. 5 goals to nothing in the first quarter, so it helps when you're obviously starting the game well, and 40 points up at half time, and then kind of just basically held that lead for the rest of the game. So they'd be happy to get one on the board early, that's for sure.
Matthew Wright, a great pickup so far from Point Cook Centrals for the Suns. He's been best on the first 2 weeks, so a classy player, and showing his wares early. 2 losses for Laverton to start the year, but I think they probably should open their account for the season in the coming week, in a couple of weeks' time against Tarneit.
Yeah, obviously disappointing start, being 0-2, but they'll see that opportunity against Tarneit as a kind of a good way to kickstart their year.
Wyndham Vale continued their strong start to the season with a 39-point win over North Footscray.
Yeah, absolutely. They've started really well, Wyndham Vale, and they'll see themselves as a real premiership contender this year. So, to be 2-0 to start the year, and they kind of they got North Footscray out of the blocks again, being kind of 6, 7 goals up at half time. Seems like it's a bit of a trend in Division 2 over the weekend. Teams kind of getting out to a kind of 6, 7 goal margin early in the first half, and then just kind of maintaining that. So I'm sure there's lessons learnt out of it for North Footscray, but for Wyndham Vale, they'd be really happy with that start.
But as you touched on, a pretty poor start from the Devils. 1 goal 3 in the first half, and then having to play catch up from there, and it's pretty tough.
Well, you look at it, it was 8 goals to 7 North Footscray's way in the second half, so pretty much almost bang on even. So if they weren't able if they didn't give up that kind of 7-8 goal lead at the start of the game, you never know, but that's footy, isn't it?
That's it. To the St Vincent's Private Hospital Werribee Senior Women's Competition, and it was a tough week to be on the losing side. Caroline Springs on top of the table early.
Yes, they've started very well under Alex O'Shea, and they'll be looking to really make amends this season, won't they, after that really close loss in the grand final Werribee Centrals last year. They've started really well over that really impressive win against Yarraville first up, and then another good win against away from home against Wyndham Vale, and they've had some really good performers to start the year. Akima Manoa, reigning league best and fairest from last year from the competition, has gone to Caroline Springs, so she started the year really well. Jacinda Condis kicking 5 on the weekend, following on from her 4 goals the week before. So yeah, they've started really strong, Caroline Springs, haven't they?
They have indeed, as have the Suns, who had a second up win over North Sunshine.
Yeah, the Suns have started really well. They did lose a couple of players in the off-season, but they seem to still have some really good talent in their team. Kicking 27 goals, including Mandy Seath kicking 7 on the weekend. So that's a really good performance. There.
Yeah, 8 multiple goal kickers for the Suns in that one. After having the bye in round 1, Parkside was back on the park, and they had a comfortable win over West Footscray.
Nice pun there. That was good.
Thank you.
Yes, good win. Good win for Parkside. Parkside Spurs, so they'd be wrapped after having the bye. Danielle Speranza kicking 5 for them, and also Stacey Rigon with 5. So a really good start for Parkside, and they will have a really big test against Caroline Springs next round, that's for sure.
For Parkside, a great first game from Ruby McMahon, former VFLW player for Essendon. So she's come in and had an immediate impact for her new club. So that's great for the Spurs. And in the final game for the weekend, Yarraville Seddon were victorious over Point Cook Centrals.
They were. Nice to bounce back for Yarraville. They obviously copped a pretty heavy defeat against Caroline Springs the week before. So for them to get on the winners board against Point Cook Centrals, they would be really happy. Phoebe McWilliams kicking 9 on the weekend. So that's an outstanding individual achievement. They're kicking 9, so they'll take a lot of momentum into their coming weeks.
Yeah, great performance there by the former AFLW player.
Yeah, and they also had play her first game. They also had Akek McCur-Chiot as well, kicking 3 on the weekend, so ex-Hawthorn AFLW player there, so good pick-up for Yarraville.
Earlier today, I spoke to Newport coach Ali Hamad following his side's first Division 1 win. Here's that chat now. Ali, thanks for joining us.
No worries, thanks for having me.
After playing so good for 3 quarters in round 1, you missed out against Spotswood, but it must be good to have secured the first 4 points of the season in round 2 against Point Cook.
Yeah, 100%. We didn't really know what to expect. Obviously coming up from Division 2 to Division 1, so there was a lot that we learnt against Spotswood about ourselves and about obviously the opposition and where we're at as well. So we got to work during the week for the Point Cook game, and I'm glad we finally got our first win in Division 1. The place was rocking back at Newport afterwards, but there's a lot of excitement and happy people at the football club.
Good to hear. You obviously had a big crowd round 1 at Newport. Did most of them come across to Saltwater Reserve as well? Did you have a fair following there?
We have a very loyal supporter base. Majority made the trip. Wasn't as much as what we had round 1, but we've got a core group of people that come to every training session and game.
No, that's great. You touched on just firstly in terms of taking some learnings out of the Spotswood game. What did you learn?
Yeah, well, we had 11 new guys come in that we recruited to play in, I think about 10 under 21 players in the team. Just understanding the game moves a lot quicker and the opposition have better efficiency by foot. So we have to be super smart with the way we worked with the ground in our attack and obviously in defence too. So Spotswood have a lot of experienced players in Yakarino and Charleston. We learned a lot about the way they play and how they use the ground. So a lot of good lessons to come out of that. Unfortunately, we fell short. We had a lot of guys cramping in the last quarter. That's about it.
Just in terms of the weekend, your ground's probably one of the smaller ones, isn't it? And probably pretty small compared to Point Cook. In terms of preparations for the game on the weekend, was there anything that went into that?
Yeah, 100%. But our ground's definitely probably one of the smallest. Point Cook have one of the bigger grounds, so we picked the right players to hold the fat side of the ground, and and especially between the arcs. So we didn't really want to lose too much of our shape. I thought that was a really important part of getting the result on the weekend.
Against Spotswood, you led for most of the day. You were up early. You had that lead. It was a bit different against Point Cook. You were down early and had to work your way back into it. What did you say to the guys to do that? And then, obviously you'd be happy with how they were able to get themselves back into the game and ahead.
I sort of felt like we started the Point Cook game the same way we finished the Spotswood game. There was a lot of turnovers and very easy turnovers that were sort of coming from us. I just said to the boys to control the tempo a little bit, control the game, control the ball, and dictate terms ourselves and not have the opposition cut off easy kicks and hurt us on turnover, which was the case in the first quarter. I think they had about 13 or 14 scoring shots on goal. So it could have been a little bit uglier than it was at quarter time. But we fought back, equaled the game, and it was a bit close towards the end, and we're lucky to get the win.
You've obviously had a great off-season in terms of recruiting-wise, bringing players in. We've seen plenty of new faces already, and we saw a new one on the weekend in Phil Moy. Obviously, started the year with Richmond's VFL side, so good to get him into the side.
Yeah, 100%. We're very lucky to have Phil on the weekend. He came in and added something different to our team. He's very lively and quick. But also seeing the other boys come into the team like Darcy Casa, Lukeman Hadara, Bosard, Omersard. We're still trying to find our feet a little bit and where we all fit in the team and our chemistry and where we sit. But it's slowly coming together.
Yeah, good. Bashar Hooley was one of your best players in round one. He unfortunately went down with a hamstring injury early against Point Cook, which is disappointing. But it must be good to know that even without a guy like Bashar, you're still capable of winning.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bashar did his hamstring in the second quarter against Point Cook, but he's someone that when he's around, the boys are a lot more confident, and they a lot more better directed on the field too. So having Bashar around is awesome for the football club, for the team, and for everyone involved. He's a great man, and we love having him around.
One of your new recruits, Joel Freeman, he was really good up forward, kicking 7 goals.
Yeah, no, Joel fits into that under 21 category. He's only a 19-year-old. He's a known goal scorer throughout his whole life. I built a good relationship with him while we're at the Western Jets, and in the off-season he was looking for a club that's close to his work because he only works in Altona North.
Yep.
So we're lucky enough to get him. I've always known what he's capable of doing, but it's nice to know that it's showing on the scoreboard.
In terms of those young guys, who are some of the names that that have impressed probably early and we can keep an eye out for?
Yeah, well, Sam McCarthy is the first one who's been playing half-back and back-up ruck for us. Joel Freeman's been really good, his big presence for us up forward. Karim Abdo, who debuted on the weekend, was really lively and put a lot of pressure and brought a lot of intensity with him on game day. Probably had one of the best performances for an 18-year-old debutant that I've seen. And then the other boys like Adam Kaduas, Zachs, that play a role for us.
Very good. Now that the season's underway, you've got 2 games under your belt, a win and a loss. In terms of the expectations that you had going in, or how are you feeling about the season?
Yeah, we know we can be competitive. We're competitive with Spotswood for 3 quarters. Obviously, we're competitive with Point Cook too. The biggest thing we were going into the season is to be competitive. Now we're just we want to play the right way for the whole season. And like I said before, having 10 guys who are under 21, we want to be able to teach them and develop them and have a core group come through and stick through with our club for the next 3, 4, 5 years. So really, we're still in process mode, and I don't think we'll go away from that.
In terms of how Newport of recent seasons have played, has there been much change in that game style, obviously moving up to Division 1?
Yeah, we're still a very highly contested team. Obviously bringing in guys, because we're still so fresh, bringing in new people and new players to the club and trying to play a system for when the game eventually transitions. That'll take a little bit of time And hopefully the younger boys that have coming in will start to adapt a little bit better to the quickness and the intensity of the league. We're trying to bring a lot of energy and connection within our lines, obviously because it's Division 1. A stay-at-home full forward can't stay at home full forward anymore. They've got to get up the ground and connect and contest. And backs have got to be able to attack and defend too. Mids have got to be able to get back quickly. So we're just trying to get our work rate up and stay connected as a group on the field. I believe our kicking is our biggest strength, although it didn't show that on the weekend. But we want to be a team that can kick mark.
Good to hear. Among those new ones that have come in, obviously you've got the leadership of players like Bashar Hooley, but who else has taken charge and is leading the way?
Yeah, Luke Mahadara is announced as vice-captain. I remember on the first night of training, he got there and it was straight into his craft and skills and warming up, and the younger group who know of him, that have now got to know him, have really followed his lead. And then you got Neef that's come back from East Keilor. He just leads by example, and he's a great one-on-one mentor to the players. And he's lifted his team leadership too by being the captain this year. So those two boys have really caught my eye.
Just in terms of your move to the league this year and to Newport, how have you found the first little while at Newport?
No, it's been super exciting. I've said this before, but Newport is probably the most unique and beautiful football club in all of Victoria because of the culture and the people there. So that was a big driving factor for coming to Newport. But I've really enjoyed it. I'm enjoying the vision that we've got and the excitement around the club at the moment.
We obviously spoke prior to the season, but there was obviously a lot of excitement leading into the season. First year in Division 1, so great for the club and great for the community. You get a week off this week. Are you giving the boys a rest, or are you pretty solid sessions this week in preparation for Albion?
Yeah, no, we'll still train. We trained last night on the Tuesday, and we'll train again on Thursday. We've got a club barbecue on the Thursday, so we probably won't go as hard on the track. Some of the boys are going to get together and do a running session on the Saturday, and we'll be back to normal the week after that.
Sounds good. Albion the following week, as we said. How do you think they've started the year, and what do you expect from them?
Yeah, we're expecting a very contested style from Albion. I know a couple of the boys that have been in the club for a few years are excited at the fact that we're playing Albion soon, so they want to go out and get a win.
And just on you today, you're on your way to Dandenong, is it? What are you up to there?
Yeah, I'm on the way to Dandenong for the big Metro and big country diversity game, so I'm coaching in it. So yeah, it's nice to still be part of the under-18, under-16 AFL pathway programs. You get to work with obviously multicultural players, but some talented players that eventuate into the VFL and AFL. So very excited today.
It's been great chatting, Ali. We've enjoyed watching Newport over the first 2 weeks, and we're excited to see what you guys can do for the rest of the season. Enjoy the week off.
No worries. Thank you for having me. Take care.
Before you go, Luke, let's talk about Senior Interleague and how that's all coming along. The WFNL set to take on the Southern Football Netball League on May 17.
Very exciting. Out at Avalon Airport Oval, Churnside Park for the football, and Eagle Stadium for the netball. So taking on Southern, which will be really exciting. All programs are tracking well at the moment. All of our squads, initial squads, in saying that, have been selected. Our senior women's have had 2 sessions, so they've kind of now gone back to a 30-person squad. Our under-19s are tracking well. They had their first session last week, so they'll have another one this week, and then they'll look to kind of cut down that squad as well. Our senior men's, they will have a session early May before heading into the week of the game there. So it's all tracking really well. All feedback we've had from coaches and players is that there is a real buzz around the program for this year, and the netball program's tracking really well also. They're in the process of selecting their 12-player squad. So, Rebecca Hicks is working really hard with the assistant coaches there on a selection process, and that's all coming to the fore. Yeah, it's exciting. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great day. Obviously, we've got a bye that weekend for our senior netball, our senior women's 18s, Div 1 and senior men's. So there won't be as much Western football, but obviously with the Interleague that day, we would love to get as many people down there to watch and obviously support them. Just excited for some of the players to get on the park that have obviously represented the league for so many years now, and we haven't had a senior interleague program since 2019, and it's actually our first year that we're having the senior women's and the senior netball involved alongside the under 19 men's and the senior men's, so it's all tracking really well.
Yes, sounds great, Luke. Very much looking forward to that. The Easter break this weekend, Luke, but there is football happening.
There is football this weekend. So a couple of games in the Division 1 Seniors TIV men's competition. We have Point Cook hosting Hoppers and Albion Parkside. So, yes, obviously just the two senior men's games. So if you're around for Easter and want to head down, highly recommend getting out to either Saltwater Reserve or JR Parsons to watch those two games. And then we go straight into a massive round after that, which is obviously the Anzac Day weekend, which is really special to be able to have a number of games on Anzac Day, which is very exciting, probably highlighted by the Division 1 game with the grand final rematch with Werribee Districts hosting Hoppers. That's going to be a beauty, isn't it?
Oh, that is. Traditional rivals, that one. They always play Anzac Day, and this one's just going to be... it's all set to be another great day.
We do have a number of Division 2 games as well on that weekend. So you've got North Footscray, West Footscray will take each other on, which will be a really good game of footy with how both of those sides have started. Braybrook will take on Auburn-Vale. So Auburn-Vale, obviously, as we know, top of the ladder at the moment. Braybrook will be looking for their first win of the season. And then obviously same with Laverton as well. They'll be taking on Tarneet, who are both of those teams looking for their first win of the year. So, yeah, really special to have a number of games on Anzac Day, which all of those clubs will put on a fantastic day.
And on Anzac night, we've got a senior women's fixture, Werribee Centrals, who are back in action there hosting Wyndham Vale.
Yes, they'll be unfurling their flag as well, so very exciting time for them, and to do that on Anzac Day night will be really exciting for Werribee Centrals, and there's some really good games in our senior women's competition for that round of football, and probably highlighted by Caroline Springs up against Parkside.
Following on from Anzac Day, it's the rest of the teams will play on Saturday, so for all the full fixtures, check out Play HQ or head to our channels, and you can find all that information there. All right, well, it's been great having you here, Luke. Hopefully you're going to come back and make this a regular thing.
Thanks, Justin. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to the next 2 weeks over Easter and the Anzac Day weekends of football, and I'm sure we'll be back soon to review it all. Thank you.
There's set to be records broken at Albion on Friday, with Patrick Savage to become Albion's all-time games record holder. Savage will run out for his 445th game, officially becoming Albion's all-time games record holder. He breaks the record previously held by Aaron Timms. An amazing achievement, having played his entire football career for Albion. He started out in the juniors before moving up into senior football. Not only a loyal player, he's a much valued club member for the Cats. Congratulations, Patrick, on the incredible milestone, and all the best for this weekend. There's no netball this week, but it'll be back the following Friday night with the first round of divisional play. All divisions playing at the State Netball Hockey Centre at Parkville. You can check out all the fixtures on Netball Connect. We won't be doing a podcast next week, but we'll be back the following week to discuss all the Anzac round action and more. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the Easter break.